Hey everyone, Dr. Anthony here. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about mental disorders. 6 years ago, I lost my first wife to suicide. Was diagnosed with bipolar disorder when she was 17 years old. Um, we met, we raised a family, we were together for about 10 years, and she decided to end her life at the age of 30 and left three kids behind for me to raise by myself. And as most of you know, I'm remarried now to an amazing woman, Julia Sodas, Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator. And but because of the tools of Access Consciousness, my life is really fully recovered from so many of the dramas and traumas that I had gone through with living with someone with mental illness. It wasn't pretty. I don't wish that on anyone, but if you are someone who struggles with mental illness or someone who lives with someone with mental illness, whether it's a child, whether it's your spouse or a friend, or whether it's you personally, I'd like to invite you to a different possibility with regards to how we look at mental illness. Uh, Jessica, the kid's mom, my late wife, was one of the smartest, intuitive, psychic people that I knew. She was talented, she was musically inclined, she was an amazing actress. She can write a song on the keyboard within 10 seconds, and it's amazing. And so, how does someone go from being totally sane, sober, stable, to all of a sudden just start getting weird? And as the weirdness builds up, starts to get psychotic and insane to the point of hopelessness, despair, and to the point where they don't want to be here anymore because they don't see any way out. And so, what if mental illness? Okay, and I'm not saying all mental illness, but what if a lot of the mental illnesses that are out there is basically, as a friend of mine, Shannon O'Hara, the creator of Talk to the Entities, says, what if mental illness was awareness, awareness of entities' symptoms? What if mental illness was someone who is extremely aware of all the different subtle energies that are around them, not only from others, but also from others without bodies? Now, I know it seems a little bit hokey, but I invite you to just put on a different set of glasses here and try to look at things from a little bit of a different perspective. If you're someone who's hearing voices, if you're someone who is always hearing, you should be doing this, may not be coming from you. And so, what if I can invite you to a different possibility, a different reality, a different world? When Jessica passed away, I had so many whys. Why did she do that? Life was great. She had a great future. She talked about her future. She talked about raising the kids. Why, bam, all of a sudden, she went from being totally normal to completely insane, and she decided to leave her children, who were, just 10, 8, and 2.5 at the time. Where did it come from? Just out of the blue? It's not acceptable enough for me to say, well, that's just the nature of the illness. It goes into remission and then just comes back out of the blue. That's bullshit. There's a reason. Now, they say never to ask why. But because of the tools that I've learned in Access Consciousness and the tools that I've learned with Talk to the Entities, I've had so many of my questions answered with regards to mental illness and why she chose what she chose, and the different things that she may have been struggling with, but she didn't have the courage to share with anybody, because there's nowhere in this reality that informs us of things that are outside of the things that we see in our everyday life. And so it's like anything beyond that is considered hocus pocus, or anything beyond that is considered non-Christian. Anything beyond that is considered not real or not true or just fantasy. Well, mental illness, is it a capacity or a handicap? And that's the question that I have for you. And so I invite you to this telecall that I'm doing on mental disorders and looking at it from a different perspective, not as a handicap, but as a capacity. And during this call, I'll be providing you with some tools that Shannon O'Hara created that are just amazing, and they just give you a whole completely different insight and understanding to mental disorders and some of the things that these people may be dealing with, to at least empower them to know that there is a different possibility beyond their illness, beyond their diagnosis, and they don't have to accept this reality's label of what's going on in their life and in their bodies. So anyhow, I've been there, I've seen it. I personally know what it's like to struggle with depression, and the tools are brilliant, they're powerful, and it's like, what if you could use these diagnoses to your advantage? What if these diagnoses were actually a gift and a capacity? So ponder that for a while, and if it sounds really fun and light, maybe not for you, but maybe someone that you know, I invite you to come on the call to learn, at least get some information in a way that you haven't heard it before. It could potentially save your life or someone that you love's life. Okay, take care.